not enjoyable for others.
Okay, we are live and we're going to get back together again. This is the Conference Committee on the Transportation Bill, House and Senate. And we took a break to discuss some of our options. And Madam Chair, just before we get to the Woodstock or the grants, is there anything else left hanging out there? There's a couple of questions there. Was there anything?
There are, Senator. I don't know if you want it.
Go ahead. Bring those up first, and we'll settle on the others.
I think we can bring up some. There's some that's a part of that bigger piece.
Okay. Yeah.
So from the top, I don't know where you were on the forest and parks on the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail.
Okay, let's. I think Senator Chittenden was handling that. So go ahead. Why don't you?
I think what you proposed that makes a lot of sense. So just dropping the lines this at number 7 and keeping the rest. I'm going to commit to my friend Catherine Demetric that next year we'll make sure the Missisquoi Valley Rail Trail is also getting the same type of maintenance plans, which I think is the case, but it makes sense.
Okay, sounds fine. So okay with the language that Anthea, you have that, you gave that to everybody, right?
That has been posted. Lori has it and I put it up on the screen. So I have that you are now agreeing to include House Section 2, which Senate had deleted, but the House proposal that was just made without subdivision 7 is what will get added. Question for all of you. The House included that early on in its bill, since it was something that would be incorporated as in the future. It would be as part of the transportation program with that white book. So having it be close to Section 1. I'm thinking that the direction you're all going in is that this is going to be a conference committee report that is the equivalent of a strike-all amendment. Where do you want that section added? Towards the beginning, like where the House had it, or towards the end, since it's new language? I'll renumber all the sections accordingly. It's just where you would like to see it. If
you tell us the best spot for it and we'll take your word.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, right? You figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. It'll be somewhere.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
Could you just let us know where it is, though?
Yeah, that's
I won't make you find it. I'll let you know where I put it.
I'm glad you bailed us out of that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I will make a note of this one.
All right. What else we had, Diane?
All right. Let's see. The other things that we did see the language on Section 22. I think while we were away, we got both of our prospective breakouts got the possible language from the agency on making the changes to the, there it is, the multi-unit level 2 chargers. Did you have a chance, senators, to take a look at that?
No, I didn't see that.
Michelle had sent an email with it. I can put it up on the screen and get it to Lori to post as well.
So do you want to wait on that, sir, or do you want to wait?
Well, let's look at it right now and see what Senator Burchick and Chittenden can comment on it.
Okay, so just as a reminder to refresh everyone's memory for where we left off during the morning, is Michelle and I were directed to work on some language that would make it so that the agency has some flexibility at some point during the fiscal year 2022 to open up the electric vehicle supply equipment grant program so that it is to multi-unit dwellings without the parameters of it needing to be multi-unit affordable housing as it's defined, or multi-unit dwelling owned by a nonprofit. So what the language that you all should have now does is it adds a definition for multi-unit dwelling, since multi-unit dwelling is now being used in multiple places. It uses that definition of multi-unit dwelling in the definition of multi-unit affordable housing and the definition of multi-unit dwelling owned by a nonprofit. It keeps what the Senate had in its proposal of amendment, where the grant program is available to multi-unit affordable housing and multi-unit dwellings owned by a nonprofit. And then it adds a new subsection F, which would say that if the Agency of Transportation, in consultation with its interagency team, the members of which are defined in the subsection above, determines that programmatic funding remains available following the first round of grant awards, then the pilot program shall be opened up and made available to any multi-unit dwelling. So it is similar to what I said this morning, where you need to give me the X, the Y, and the Z, like what's the date and what's the trigger point and then what happens. So the date is after the first round of grant funding. The trigger is the Agency of Transportation, in consultation with its interagency team, determines that there's funding available. And then what happens is it's opened up to any multi-unit dwelling, not just those two subsets of multi-unit dwelling, the multi-unit affordable housing and the multi-unit dwelling owned by a nonprofit.
Does
Senator
that get
Burkhardt?
at it?
Yeah, that's okay with me.
Okay, all right, Senator Chittenden, we're all set? Okay, Fine.
I think our team is good with that, so I think we can check that off.
yeah. You're rolling us on everything, so what the hell, we might as well keep it
No,
on.
We're
No,
just,
no,
we're
all
just,
right,
we're doing this together, sir.
all right, yeah.
Serving Vermonters every day. Together.
Okay, next, anything else before we get to the other ones?
The only other one, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We are very serious about our work, but we
No,
do.
no,
enjoy
no,
being
just
together.
joking, have a little fun here.
I know.
Have a little fun.
The only other piece on the language was like, I don't know where we are on the priority versus goal and how important that is to everybody. I don't think you would have used goal. I think, at least for me, it scratches the itch around the goals that were set by the state versus a priority, and wondered if you'd considered.
I don't know, did we talk about that? Yeah, Senator Perks, like you had them.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's important to make it a goal. I don't know what it means to actually say a priority to set these standards. I can see a funding priority, but I mean, the legislature sets goals all the time. So I don't understand the objection to the goal, one, and two, I think setting a goal is the right thing to do.
All right, I'm willing to let that goal of mine.
Goal.
Only because I think it's just, for me, as the semantic of the word and having had to fight for goals so hard that they usually don't come out of nowhere, but I'm sure there'll be a lot to come next year with the Climate Council's recommendations about where we're going. So I'm just gonna let that one go, okay? So then that finishes for me anyway, so you can check that one off, Anthea, that we're okay with the Senate position. And then I think if you want to talk about the tough one in our world is under the supporting the town's highway aid and
Okay.
the structures increase and the cap increase.
Okay, so we will get to, let's see, we got those two left, Woodstock and that one, right? Is that correct?
Well, we got a couple of other ones, but I think the other ones are going to have less. I think.
Okay, if here's what I think we've come up with on the town grant, the $3 million. I know it goes to every town, and I guess we thought that the structures were important, but it's 6 of one, a half dozen the other. It is important that the structures are funded because some towns can't do it without it. And I think the $3 million, if you want to put it in the grants, that's fine. We'll go along with the $3 million. The aid, I'm sorry, the aid, and that goes from 27 to 30 million. On the Woodstock, here's the deal there. This is something I think it has to be changed to be in fairness to all other towns in Vermont. This is nothing against Woodstock. We are making an all-out effort to pave the summer. It'll be done by September, and we're going to work with them in the future. But other towns have the same issues, and we're trying to be in all fairness. This is nothing, like I said, personal against Woodstock. This was put in many, many years ago. And if towns find out why they are exempt, it's interesting because you can go through there with a truck with a permit, it's perfectly safe, but yet if you don't have a permit, it's not safe. And so that's been troublesome to a lot of us. So what we're willing to do there is we had January 22 for the end of the permitting. I think it was January 22, and you were asking for January of 23. And we thought, and checking with the Department of Motor Vehicles, the fiscal year is July 1st, and we would love to have you consider the July 1st. And that's splitting you right down the middle, 50-50. And that gives them plenty of time, knowing the construction is done this year. And it gives them an extra 6 months, but yet it starts the fiscal year with a July date. And so we both give a little on that one, and I thought that would be a win-win for that. So with those two, and I think the other one you had was raising it from 175 to 200,000. Is that correct on your grant?
Oh, yeah, I was going to come back to that.
And I, to be honest with you, I don't think we even discussed that with our committee. Is that all right with the committee, or you want to revisit that? I see that a yes from Senator Perchlik, and I think Senator Chin. I don't see him. Would you speak up, please? And then
That's fine.
that's fine. Okay, so we'll do the 200,000 there. So
And the future increase, we actually had changed the statute, right? With that cap comes the desire to make sure that we don't lose ground, that there's less grants available. So we made that small permanent increase so that the amount of work that still can be done is the same. Is that your position?
Michelle, are you on with us right now?
While you get Michelle
Okay.
joining
okay.
you,
Yeah.
that is the one that would be increasing a floor on an ongoing basis. So that is not a fiscal year 2022 excuse.
That's going to be an ongoing, I believe.
Right.
Yes, I think we're correct there.
Uh,
Michelle, do you have any
Senator-
comments on that, or?
No, I mean, this is outside of the governor's recommend, so it's not something we support, but we implement what you advance.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Michelle. And I think it's the House's decision, is if it's been that we raise the cap, that we don't make other towns suffer because of that. So we wanted to make sure that that the little bit of increase permanently helps to make sure that we maintain the same level of support going forward as we have done so far. And Senator, we'll be back here next year, and it'll be a part of the intent of us going forward. But the governor will present a budget that he'll believe in.
Okay. So that's it. That's there. Was there something else that you had talked about?
I'm going to check that
Mileage
out.
Smart, right? Was that the last outstanding issue? The 100.
Oh, no, I'll come back to Woodstock before we go on. I'm going to say that okay, so we're good with the 3 million.
Can I just jump in and recap what I think you agreed to on the town piece?
Oh, that's always helpful.
Okay, so you are going to add back in House Section 4, which was the 3 million to town highway aid. Are you deleting Senate Section 8, which was the 3 million to structures and roadway, or are you doing 6 million total?
Good question. My guess is we're doing the 3 million to town highway aid and not to we don't need to put more into the structures. They already have double. That would be my position, right?
I thought is that what's understood by our side?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So then you're deleting Senate Section 8. Section 9, I don't have that you closed it out, but it was one where neither of you had any disagreement. This was the 6 municipalities that didn't know there was going to be the pause. And then you're adding in House version Section 6 and Section 7, which is the increase in the grant cap and the increase in the total appropriation. So that's the package that.
I think that's correct.
Okay.
And yes, that would be mine. Yes. So if we want Mileage Smart, Senator, it's a very rich package for something that we definitely do support. And we're going to find it very hard to not agree with you, sir. So I think the House position on Section 13 is okay.
and I'm just jumping in, I will change it to be general fund and not ARPA, so that you're tracking what we think is the current iteration of the big bill.
Good call. And I'd like to come back if you don't mind. I think if it gives me a moment to think about your offer on Woodstock, sir. July of 22, although I understand your rationale, and we kind of wanted to give it at least a 2 good construction seasons, or construction season this year with a summer of activity, so that the town could have an opportunity to see the results of what's going on. Would you entertain of coming back from my 23 and up from your 20 July 1, and maybe we settle at September of 22?
What is your fear about the construction is done this year by September 1st?
Yeah.
So they have another 6 months beyond that. July, yeah, 6 more months. So what would be the fear? They have the fall, winter, and spring.
Right.
Summer.
And I think it's the same thing that you hear from the communities and people that are there, that the activities will be such that they want to be able to, between the tourism season, the ski season, and the fall season, that they have a full time. That would be to give them more time to see the results of how the improvements that are made have made a difference, and give them time to respond, have another summer, and not start at July, which is like basically the beginning of summer, but to move it on to September, which is kind of a tough place where I get it. You're killing me, Senator, on the.
Well, we're just trying to be fair to everybody. And
I know.
this is not let me make this perfectly clear. This is not a Dick Mazza thing. This is something that has been bothered me from other communities who share the same experiences. And yet we are making saying to Woodstock, you are suffering so greatly, when every community of Vermont is having that same problem. And it's time that we just draw the line and not do it, because they're making a ton of money off of fines. And like I said before, this is interesting. If you get a permit, it's perfectly safe to drive through there. If you don't get a permit, you get a ticket and you're fined $600, and it's not safe. I don't understand that. It puzzles me to think that they've got away with it all these years. And maybe I was one of them responsible, because it happened, I think, during Cheryl Rivers' time back many years ago. And to allow this to happen, and we're not taking anything away, we're just making it legally with every other community in Vermont who are doing the same thing. That's all I'm trying to do. I just, I don't know, another 3 months, if it's going to make that much of a difference. I don't know.
Well, the 3 months is because it's that summer season, and it gives them that opportunity to after, because this year they're going to have the construction going on, and it gives them the summer to see the results of that improvement on the ground. They'll have the winter of 21. They'll have the summer, and they won't have totally of the fall, but contemplate that. Because I know that you and I both we're trying to balance on between the desires of people and in the desires of the full state at the same time, and wanting to make sure that this community is.
Yeah, and I want to make it perfectly clear that July 1st starts their new budget, and it's a new thing for DMV to start it for 3 months. When everything else shuts down on July 1st, and we start, so they have to start the program, allocate some funds, get the permitting in for 3 months. That was one of my concerns, because I said, well, okay, 3 months isn't a big deal. Then I talked to DMV, and they said, wait a minute now, you're forcing us to open it up for 3 more months, and going through all the paperwork and entering all the permits and the fees that we have to consolidate. So that it wasn't the 3 months. Basically, it's DMV has to put it into effect for 3 months.
I hear you, sir. The original House position on this is 23. I would love 24.
Well, that's why I split it with you.
I would love 20.
Listen, wait a minute. I'm glad you said that, because 23 and 22, if you split that, it's July 1st.
Well, but 24 is also.
No. Wait a minute. Wait, you had
That's my-
23.
Yeah,
Okay, let's not go to 24.
okay. All
Let's-
right.
let's
I
just
did
split
say
it.
23.
Let's just split it. We split it 6 months each. We both give up 6 months.
Well, I think I'd like to stick with the September of 22 to give them the summer. I know that I know where you're saying, but I want to be able to give the widest breadth, given the fact that this is a pretty big deal for Route 4 all the way along, not just Woodstock, with a lot of members and a lot of communities along the way, to give them as much opportunity before the change occurs.
May I ask a question?
Yes, go right ahead, Senator Jim.
So it's unclear to me, what do you think, what will happen on either July 1st or September 1st that would be different than August 31st, there's August 30th, or June 30th? It just seems that as of that day, police officers will no longer be able to pull trucks over, but it doesn't seem like anything else will change with the quality of life depending on the date. We're resolved that this needs to be changed. I'm wondering from a town's perspective, what will change whenever this date occurs in their everyday lives?
Well, if I could, I can't speak for them, but I can sort of channel a little bit of the energy that I hear. There's a great deal of concern from, I think the town sometimes, or in the past, the livable, walkable community because of the pedestrian. And it isn't just that it's the truck is going through there, and trust me, do I know, because I've Virgins, but we don't have a issue within here as it being crossing the double yellow line. That's where the concern is, on the safety, is on those pinch points, is about they have to pull into the oncoming traffic lane in order to navigate the way the road is constructed.
Madam Chair, every community has intersections. Please don't go there,
Oh.
because Essex 5 corners, there's 5 corners in Essex. They have to go through other lanes. Okay, just so we're clear.
Oh, I know. I hear you. They have to go. But there's intersections versus some of that they're at a stop, that they have to make the turn. I think we have shown through this community's persistence and others along that whole Route 4 that we have some challenges in our state with nobody's saying that we can deal without trucks. We have to have them. Do we need them at 55 and 75 feet, 40 feet? I don't, it's about the size and where we've been going. And I've been on this committee, maybe not the committee conference, but in this, when we increased the amount of weight in a truck allowed on our highways up to 80, I think it's 80,000 pounds.
Yep.
It's a significant increase, although somebody brought up here's a big difference between hauling cotton balls and cement, which what you get to when you've got the size of the truck. But we're trying to make sure that we hear the desires of the community and communities, not just one, all along that route, that really want to have some semblance of self-determination of the roadways.
We passed the Senate 30-0 on this bill. And so, and we're going halfway with you. What more can we do by splitting it with you? We're going 6 months each. I'm not asking for anything greater. Come on, let's be honest about this.
If we're gonna get to there, we're 150-0. We passed it. We did not have this.
But
No,
are we compromising? Yes or no?
You definitely have made at least some.
What do you mean some? We split it half down the line. We went to July. Come on, let's be honest about this.
We will have to take that one into consideration.
Okay, go right ahead. Yeah,
We will do that. I
Okay,
won't say that we won't take into consideration.
all right, okay, thank you.
I'm trying to, from the House's position, even making any changes in this of being.
Well, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Come on.
So do I.
It's all about compromising.
This was not in our bill at all, and we're hearing you, and we're trying to get there to a comfortable place for
Yes,
everybody.
ma'am. I understand that. Okay, you're going to take a break and you're going to come back. All right.
Do you,
Go ahead, Senator Mazza.
Yes.
I just wondered if it mattered at all to the House conferees if there was a fiscal impact And I don't know if Michelle would know or if we need to hear from DMV. It's my understanding, as Chair Mazza said, that if the permit goes into the next fiscal year, DMV has a fiscal impact that wouldn't happen if it's July 1st. Maybe it doesn't matter because it's not going to be that big of a dollar impact, but I didn't know if that was something that you wanted to have clarified, if it mattered or not.
My recollection is it costs DMV roughly $22,000 to run this
For a year.
for a year. And I think the fines, the tickets that were brought into the state through the Woodstock fine was between an average $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
How much did Woodstock get out of that, those fines? How much?
I think it's a 30-70 split on tickets, but don't.
They wouldn't give us a figure on how much they generated on tickets. We asked them a number of times, the
Yeah.
police chief, how much did you generate? And I knew they had the answer, but I never heard it.
No, they told us 30 to 40,000 is what my notes. I don't know. If I'm wrong, correct me, Madam Chair, but that's what I had
Right. You're right. I think it was around 22 is what.
For the state.
for the state portion. Yeah.
Well, I just think we're half and half here, and we could wrap this thing up. But if you want to talk about it, go right ahead.
I would like to.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a very big deal. It's a
All
very
right.
big deal.
Okay, we've given on everything else, so go ahead.
So we going in a breakout room? What are we doing, Madam?
I think so. Lori, why don't we, if we can have arrange for a breakout room, that'd be terrific.
I think we could just click right back on it if I'm correct. Just go to breakout room at the bottom.
I have to open the room if it's
Yes,
not
yes.
open.